Hey, girlfriend, you know who you are. You have big, big dreams. You want to write a book, stand on a TED Talk stage, be a life coach offering wisdom from your RV in Montana, a cafe in Barcelona, or a beach chair in Tulum. Your other girlfriends and your family, they don't always get your biz savvy. Why do you want to leave your JOB? Because you're a C.A.T.S, aka coach, author, thought leader, and speaker. Meet other change makers like yourself and find out how they make it happen. This is the Big Meow podcast.
Hello, all you cats. It's Kristen, and I'm here with Dr. Brigitte Tan. Hi, Dr. Tan. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Kristen, and thank you so much for allowing me to be with you today.
So, I understand that you are the author of the book Seeking Peace, and you are a grief specialist. Share with me a little bit more about your work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So, as a grief specialist, I help people to be able to live again, to have to be able to feel full joy again. Recovering from grief is about hope. Recovering from grief is about love. It is about being able to have challenges and adversity and loss in our life, perhaps hope unmet. But in face of that, to be able to move through and beyond that and create the life that you love in whichever way it is that you would really, really love about that. And the book Seeking Peace is basically showing some of the fundamental tools, not the whole thing, but some of the very fundamental tools that everyone can practice using your five fingers as a reminder. So, because it's to make it easy to apply on a day-to-day basis, and allowing us to navigate through adversity. Seeking Peace was published in the early or mid 2020 as part of response to the pandemic lockdown at the time.
Yeah, there was just so much loss during the pandemic. Is that what inspired you to write this book?
I was inspired to write the book from my own experience, actually. And coincidentally, after so many backup, it came out in perfect timing. But what inspired me to do the grief work, my training is actually in medicine, but what inspires me to step even more into the grief work and then also write Seeking Peace is my own life experience. I experienced grief since I was 5, and I part of Seeking Peace with the five fingers, my dominant hand suddenly became paralyzed a year or two beforehand, and I was in Los Angeles. Nobody could figure out why, even after all the specialists. And at the same time, unlike in my previous experience when adversity happened, it took me a while to navigate through, and all the turmoil, the inner turmoil, understandably, that we experience. When I practice the tools I share in Seeking Peace, it took me a lot shorter times to create an even better all-win result, win for all result, as well as to be during the journey to have a lot more ease and a lot more fun as well.
So, would you be willing to share with us one or two of these tools? Because I'm sure we have many listeners who are having some area of their life where they are experiencing grief over some type of loss.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So one of the tools would be to allow support. I mean, I know a lot of people say allow support, but as a grief specialist and as a doctor, I tend to say when you experience grief and your heart is broken, it is as if your leg's been broken, kind of broken heart and broken leg. Except broken heart tend to be more painful than broken leg. I had broken bones in the past, and for many of us who has experience of a loss, a grief, the broken heart can be very painful, even more than broken leg. And at the same time, just know that even the best orthopedic surgeons cannot fix his or her own broken leg. There isn't any. I know many orthopedic surgeons, and then even the best orthopedic surgeons can't fix his or her own broken leg. As grief specialists, we have a community. And if something happened with us, we reach out and we say, hey, I'm going through this. Can you please support me? And so the first one is to allow support. And if the first one or the second one or the third one doesn't feel right to you, keep looking, keep trying. It's kind of like even with physical health. If you have a conditions and the first doctor or the second doctor doesn't answer your questions or doesn't help you after a little time, get a second opinion and a third opinion.
You are listening to the Big Meow podcast, empowering women entrepreneurs to share their voices, make an impact, and transform the world in a positive way. Sponsored by Orange Cat Content Marketing Agency.
So this is a show about entrepreneurs. So talk to me about what inspired you to launch your healing practice and what some challenge that you've had recently that you were able to overcome.
Absolutely. So, what inspires me to launch this practice, to be full time in this work, is because after a long journey, I feel that I finally really understand and have a comprehensive tool to be able to help people in an easy, step by step, and quick way to move through and beyond grief. Not to rush you, but instead of years of, let's say, counseling, please don't take me wrong, there's place for everything. What I do is, and this is suitable for, I work a lot with businesses as well, actually, talking about entrepreneur. What I do is I teach a course, I teach a class. The tools and skills you learn is transferable. So let's say the business leaders learn that, the owner of the company, that's something that you can transfer to all your team member, as well as it's something that you can modify and easily apply in all different aspects of your life. And so that's one thing. And also, mainly, the impact that I see. The more I understand grief, the more I understand the impact of grief. Before the pandemic in 2017, the Grief Recovery Institute did a study and shows that grief cost businesses 113 billion a year in the United States alone. This was before COVID. Now we estimated that to be almost 3 times because of all the loss, as you say. And knowing that, being a business person myself, I feel that there is a need for business owner, for companies, for everyone in the workplace to understand the impact of grief, as well as to be able to quickly and in a simple manner to move through and beyond that, as well as to be able to deliver that and apply it in a way that work for them in life.
Do you have a personal self-healing practice?
Do I have a personal self-healing practice? One of my personal let me just clarify your questions. Are you talking about the self-healing practice for a person?
Yeah, for you. Yeah, yourself. Like rituals, self-care, self-healing. Yes.
A ritual self-care and self-healing. So I have learned to talk to my heart, which is very different, by the way, than learning to listen to your mind. A lot of time in nowadays, a lot of which is the mind is very important, but it's different than listening to your heart. It's different than listening to your mind, as well as to listen to my body and do that on a daily basis, moment to moment, and actually do what my heart and my body, as well as my mind, says.
That sounds like a great practice. I love that. So, Dr. Tan, where can we find your book and where can we find you?
Thank you. The book is available on Amazon in any country. And so anywhere you have Amazon, you can find the book. And where you can find me is you can find me on my website, joyfulrichesbeyondgrief.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Brigitte Tan.
Wonderful. Dr. Tan, thank you for being on the Big Meow.
Thank you.
Are you looking for authentic connections, business mentorship, and a supportive community? Join C.A.T.S Network. Thank you for listening to the Big Meow podcast. Please subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share this episode with your community.